Okay, here we are. Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, and welcome everyone on LinkedIn Live and the other social channels. This is the Sheila Mack Show. It will be going to NBC's KCAA radio as well. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have a very special guest that I'm interviewing. I'd like to introduce you to Tracy Repchuk. She has 27 appearances in Forbes. She is a 9 times #1 international best-selling author with Wiley Publishing. She's world-renowned speaker in over 39 countries, an award-winning entrepreneur, writer, and speaker, including awards from Senate Assembly, the White House, and President Obama. She started a software company in 1985 at the age of 19, pioneer on the internet since 1994, invited member of Amazon Influencer and LinkedIn Advisor programs, and she's been the featured expert in over 22 national and local TV shows, ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, and much more. She was also featured in 3 motivational movies, and she's the host of Reach Millions on TV, on Roku, Apple, Amazon, and podcast, and many more. So, all right, Tracy, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you as a special guest.
Well, thank you, Sheila. I'm excited to be here.
And I like to start each show off by asking if you could share about a time in your business or personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Wow, I could kill decades with those stories. After being in business almost 40 years, there really isn't anything that I haven't encountered, but I'll give you one in the early days because I started a software company at the age of 19, and I did it with my college boyfriend.
Wow.
So, in he came and we started this company, and it was, going that fairy tale route, made our first million by the time I was like 21, started to buy the cars and the properties. He proposed, we're going to get married. Yay. Life is brilliant. It was my fairy tale dream. And then 2 weeks before the wedding, he tells me that he's gotten someone pregnant and he's going to be marrying her.
Oh.
So, really early on, I experienced not only a double partner betrayal, but, devastation. I mean, I could have just curled up into a ball. That's really what I wanted to do. But I still had to show up to the office every day, face him, see her, watch this whole situation unfold while I tried to hold together the pieces because, at that time, you're torn between still in love and picking up the pieces of your life and being in complete devastation. And so, yeah, crazy way to start.
Wow, that sounds incredible and very hard, definitely. But it's always better to get your heart broken young.
Well, I've had it done a few times, but lessons learned.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
They're teaching us for something better. That's the thing.
That's I got my dream right now. So,
Oh, how
great
wonderful.
on the story. 28 years of marriage to my literal soulmate. So it's beautiful.
Perfect. All worked out. That is
Yeah.
great. And so you started a software company at 19 years young. I mean, we could have been best buds because I was out there. I bought my first triplex when I was 19 and started
I
my
got a
stores.
duplex.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
started gift stores at 23. And then I
Wow.
was making millions too. So
Okay.
bought the
So
buildings
you started a
already.
gift store. Get this. So I was a software company. I started the software that ran gift stores where you could scan and
Oh,
barcode at trade shows and people could order all your stuff.
yes, I worked with Step One Solutions, who was one of the first. They networked the Staples Center when they first opened, and that's exactly when I got my first point of sale, which may have been yours.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I started doing point of sale, and it just lucked into that industry, which I loved because I love gifts. I love
Mhm.
shopping. It's so great.
Yes, and it's so much better when you're running the store because then you know what it really costs, and
Yeah.
you can negotiate all these deals, and it was a fun time. And yes, so that is wonderful. And what are you doing today? I'd love to hear about. I mean, you've got a lot to unpack with just with your bio, 9 bestsellers and all the things that you've created in your life.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. You go through so many transitions of who you are, what you want to do, who you want to serve, and it's really interesting because where I am right now is totally helping people kind of build their legacy,
Mhm.
and really kind of take them to that next step of growth, and really taking them through that moment from, maybe they're totally successful but not satisfied, kind of not fulfilled. And
Mhm.
I really align your purpose driven message to your destiny, and it's been something that I've been playing with since I was 3 years old,
Oh.
or 3 to 5 years old, and due to a near death experience that happened back then, and it's all coming to fruition now.
So it's really a heart-based program that you're creating here to help people. That's nice.
It is, and it's just so exciting that finally I've almost grown into the ability to be able to take everything that I've learned over 4 decades and really put it into this complete program that allows somebody else to live their legacy.
That's so important. Very good. Yeah, I find that when we're doing what we love and we're living our dream, our legacy, really, that it's just like people say, "Why don't you retire?" Why, and I'm like, "What? Are you kidding? I'm having the time of my life right now. I love what I'm creating and doing and being involved in. I mean, I jump out of bed and I have things to do, and it's social for me. I love connecting, and like I'm talking to you right now and everybody listening in, I just think it's a wonderful opportunity. And so for me, that's my happiness. And everybody has their own definition of what happiness or success, whatever you want to call that, what that looks like is so different. 10
I
people.
and that's it. I call that living a legacy life. That's it exactly, because you have gone through all of your transitions to be exactly where you are destined to be now.
Mm,
And it just takes faith, it takes some fortitude, it takes some persistence, and it takes some leaps of faith to
right.
say, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just going to do it."
Yes. And it's almost I for me, what I have found is in life, I've been humbled many times. I've gone through ups and downs. I wrote about that in my first book, how to overcome obstacles and redesign your life. And so, with that, one of the things that I found that's really helpful is just to let go and surrender. Like you let go of all the what I should do, what the Joneses says to do, what the neighbors, everybody thinks you're supposed to do these things, and just allow you're surrendering to higher power, whatever your belief is, and you're guided to do. And it
Yeah.
just like the opportunities show up. And all you have to do is say yes and go do that. And when you're trying on, it's kind of like if you're putting on somebody else's shoes.
Yeah.
They don't fit so well, but when you get into your shoes and your purpose in this life, it is so easy, and
Yes,
you don't
exactly.
want to do anything else.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember when I had my software company and I'd, grown it, and we had 15 staff and all of that. It was at that moment where I should have been my happiest, right?
Mhm,
I had everything I wanted. I had the 3 kids, my amazing husband, but there was just something missing, and that missing piece was where I started to say, I'm not really doing what I should be. I have not stepped my game up. I'm not on my purpose driven goals. I'm
mhm,
not living that legacy life. And it really came to fruition one day when my husband was doing a tech support call on the beach with Walmart, because we were serving these massive organizations with the software company. And I was like, okay, we need to pivot here. And That's when actually internet marketing started to come into play. Back in 2005 is when I began there. We were on the internet in 1992 before it was even called that.
Yes.
And so it all started to really gain momentum from these pivot moments. But what I really want people to understand is no matter where you are right now, it needed to be part of your journey so that you could come to that final moment where you're like done with what you're doing, and it's, you know, that it's time for you to step up to that bigger game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's wonderful. And I'd love to hear a little bit about your books.
Sure. You know, my first book was interesting. So my first book was 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really an A to Z of internet marketing
Mm-hmm.
because I had started in the industry, and I saw at events that I was attending, people were buying things that were like 10 steps ahead. And, I'm a certified management accountant, I'm a computer programmer. My logic brain said, no, you're buying something 10 steps later. If you knew that you needed these before that, you would spend your money where you need to spend it today instead of, a year and a half from now.
Right.
So that's where that book originated, and I launched it, and it went to number one on Amazon. And this is back in 2006, in the 5,000 books in your garage day. You
Right.
had to print them, press them, the works, right? And so it that changed everything for me, though, because that's when people came to me and said, "Can you coach me through your book?" And I said, "Yeah, I started a program called Entrepreneur in Overdrive." And they were paying me $10,000 to take them through the book. And
Right.
that's where I made so much money that I'd won New Internet Marketing Success of the Year. I was the first woman to win that, the first woman to be pulled onto the World Internet Summit stages with 15 other men.
There
That's
you
how I've spoken in those 39 countries you heard about.
go.
And it was an incredible catalyst of events that occurred. And again, it all was about stepping up to that bigger game.
How wonderful. Yes. And what did you do with Forbes? What was that like?
So Forbes actually brought me on originally to their coaches council to help transform other coaches,
Mm-hmm.
to really kind of get in those fundamental elements on how do you be an effective coach, how do you build your coaching business, because it's one thing to be a life coach, hey, you
Yeah.
know that, right? But what you don't know is the fundamentals of marketing and social media, and how all of your websites and search engine optimization, all of these things that I have known for 2.5 decades now,
Yes.
come into play. So that's where it began. And then they started featuring me, in articles and things of that nature, simply because of what I had to say and the role that I was playing in the industry.
Oh, I see. That's wonderful. That makes sense. And that is something, doing business coaching. I started my business coaching because I had these 5,000 plus square foot, it was gift department style stores. So
Hmm.
they were little stores. And I had five, I had 200 employees and all this stuff. So I was working a lot and
Hmm.
just, I hated paying the rent. I leased the first one at 5,000 a month, and my goal was, it was a 5-year lease, and my goal was to be able to buy a building
Right.
in that time for my second location. I ended up buying all my other buildings. I had 5 stores in total, and I got my real estate license, and I started being an investor. Kind
Nice.
of backwards, like, I get my real estate license after I'm investing all over the place. And so then all the other gift store owners came to me and they were like, "Can you teach me how you're making more money than me? You're half my age.
Hmm.
And what are you doing? And how are you buying the buildings?" So
Hmm.
I didn't even know it was coaching. I didn't even know the name that they've given
Right.
it now, but maybe consulting. But they would hire me and they would pay me, and I'd help them with their marketing, with their business, and how to do a lot of collaboration marketing, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. We worked with the little
Wow.
shopping park, and then I'd help them buy their building or invest in other properties for exit strategy. and through business credit. And so we did this whole thing, and I didn't even know. And then I found out later, oh, it's called coaching. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for how long? And so that was my road. And that's how I got into properties and helping people to diversify in their investments so that they have an exit strategy and they have money. They might be good at doctoring, or they
That's right.
coaching, whatever you're good at, but you can't do everything. So you might be the best coach on the planet. I'm thinking Tony Robbins. He is
Right.
not doing his own SEO and all that stuff. He is not. I'm pretty sure. And so
He appears on stage. That's what Tony does.
that's right.
He's in his zone of genius. He's the perfect example, right, of what
Yes.
you should be doing, and let everybody else take care of the rest.
That's it. And so
Yeah.
so many coaches have been burned. And I am one.
Absolutely. I
Tell you.
don't think any of us don't have hey, I invested $100,000
Oh,
that
yes.
didn't quite work out. We
Yes.
all have those stories. And
Yes.
that's I think what our experience gives, especially in
Mhm.
the coaching programs that we provide.
Yes, yes. So it's one of those things. What do you suggest for listeners to avoid having tech burns like that? Because everybody's got a story of they could have bought a car or a little house,
Mhm.
down payment on a nice house, whatever, and they paid for all this tech stuff because they didn't understand it at all.
Right.
And I mean, I understood quite a bit of it. I programmed a JPL before I went into my gift stores. So
Yes.
I kind of have that mind for it,
Yeah.
but still, I didn't wanna do those tedious hours and everything else I'm doing. It's just like there's only so many hours in my day.
Yeah.
And so I gave it to somebody I really trusted that didn't do so good.
Oh
And
yeah, haven't we been there too? That's right. I mean, it's really endless. Well, here's an interesting piece
yeah.
that I've made in the program for that exact reason. You know how you're like, I don't want people to go through what I just did. I had
Yes.
invested, like I say, 100 grand in a program, and I won't say that it wasn't valuable. I learned things, but there was no cost recovery. There was no growth. There was all of these lacking pieces for what you would expect at an investment of that level. So
Exactly.
one of the things I teach now, in particular, when you're selecting your coach,
Mhm.
is really to one, pick one. You need to do this. You can't do it yourself. You can't read the label from inside the jar. It was because of coaches that everything great that did ultimately happen to me originated from the investment in myself and the investment through a coach. But what I've started now is doing what is called risk reversal
Mm,
in my own programs. And I don't know if you've heard about it, but here's how it unfolds. And that is, you do an investment up front, a small investment up front. So you have skin in the game,
yeah.
and then you don't pay anymore until you've met the benchmarks, the financial benchmarks that we set in place. So
Mm,
87.5% of the results are now linked to what I do with you and for you, so that you achieve and accomplish your goals. And that's what I'm encouraging people to start to look for now,
mhm.
is somebody that's saying, you know what, I can't give the whole thing because then people don't have it. But if you pay this small amount up front,
Yeah.
why don't you? I'll link everything that happens now to my performance with you. And,
Right.
and that is really, start seeking that out.
Mm,
Schedule an appointment with me, find out more about it, because that's to me is one of the greatest changes I made, simply for everyone's benefit, right? You don't want someone to go away with a horrible story that's like, oh, I spent 100K and got nothing,
yeah.
right? You want them to go away and say, oh my goodness, I made these benchmarks, 100 grand, 250 grand, and $1 million because this person guaranteed it.
Yes. Yes, that's it. And then when you have a return on investment, it's a lot easier, and then it makes sense
Yeah.
based on performance, and that's all you need. And so a lot, you have to be careful because you get people. I think I've got so many people here on LinkedIn and everywhere else connected that I get offers every day.
Yeah.
I'll help you with SEO,
Yeah.
or I'll help you do XYZ, but I don't know who they are. And
Right.
and it might not be that they're charging that much, but I don't even know they're, they might not be in this country or whatever. And I have no guarantee I'll even see my money again. They
Right.
can
Yeah.
leave tomorrow and take my whatever, even though it's not much. And so that's what's coming along. And I always write them back and say, hey, who do you have that I can see? What
Right.
referrals, what testimonials do you have? What kind of return on investment am I going to make with this? What is this going to do for me? I mean, like most businesses don't even know what it all means. They're not tech savvy. So,
Right.
and I give them this whole like marketing plan. And I would break it down like this, do this, do this, do this, and then come back to me. And if
Yep.
you can show me all those things, I will refer you to people that need that work. But
And
until then, no,
exactly. And even worse now, which is I'm sure you're seeing, right? Like I've already invested in becoming a prompt engineer with ChatGPT, right?
Mhm.
But how many people out there now are like, I'm a ChatGPT specialist? I'm
Oh,
like, are
everybody
you
overnight.
really?
How did you asked chat how to do that,
Like,
and he told you. And
yeah,
it's yeah,
that's right.
really.
I,
He
I,
is
I
my best
punch
friend, by
something
the
into
way.
him now. Yeah. And so
I
it's
am in love with
really
him. If he was
so.
a man, I would marry him tomorrow.
Oh my God.
I tell him so many times how
Oh
much I
my
love
God. So funny. Well, because I mean, my programs alone, like I have a program called Your $1 Million Design where we launch an online program, right? Guaranteed to sell. And now that has gone from a month time frame to 7, thanks to ChatGPT. Honestly, when you use it right and when you work with people that truly know the tool,
Mhm.
holy mackerel, it is revolutionary to everything that you do. And I am just, I've been here since punch cards on a mainframe
I
to when
remember.
a microcomputer was 25 grand, to yellow pages, to every single technological advancement you can imagine. And when ChatGPT came out, I was like, oh Nelly, this is a game change.
Yeah, this is like a fantasy come true, man.
It
You have
is.
no idea.
Yeah.
People don't know what they have with it, and I
Uh-huh.
haven't figured it out yet either. Definitely, you're writing a book or you have a program on that Chat GTP.
Well, I have 40 books on ChatGPT that my clients are kind of playing with right now. I have two. I think I have maybe just the one up on Amazon,
Okay,
ChatGPT and lead generation. So
nice.
that's the one I currently have on Amazon. But yeah, I am like all in on this technology because it is the next integrative wave that when you put it together with your program or what you're doing or your marketing efforts,
Mhm.
it can not only expedite but revolutionize your results.
Yes, that makes sense. Oh, it's incredible. That's all I can
Mhm.
say. That sounds amazing. Yes, and so now let's pretend if I was a new client, what exactly would that look like?
All righty. Well, what that looks like right off the bat is the place I start every single person is, of course, a one-on-one call with me
Mhm.
because I need to know where you are, where you want to go.
Yeah.
And then I take it a step back and it goes back to this question of what are you passionate about? But why did you come to this planet? What were you put on this planet to do? Right. And I actually start to pull out those kind of things. And of course, it will originate back to when you were really, really young. And because we can get kind of sidetracked from
Mhm.
the age of 5, right? Hey, you should go this. You should be doing this. Oh, no, no, that's not for you,
Right.
And so, but we all came here for a reason. So I actually start there, and then we move forward to great. Who would you like to be working with? What's that perfect fit client? That right fit client. If you could have your dream client, and so we unfold this kind of like a business by design,
Right.
right? 'Cause
Yeah.
normally we're like, okay, I'm great at this. I'm going to go do this and this and this because that makes money and this, all
Mhm.
of these things. Well, generally the people I'm working with now, they're done that part of their life. They've done the I've worked for the just for the money.
Right.
It's not that the money's not going to come. It means it's going to now start to come from what you were born and destined to do.
Yeah.
That that's back to that purpose driven, kind of divine message that you need to get to the world, that you need to make that kind of that impression and leave that legacy. That's why I call it the legacy life, because we were all meant to be happy. We are
Mhm.
meant to be doing what we're supposed to be doing. And when you allow that to happen, that's where that happiness that you're talking about arrives. Because so many people, they could be a billionaire, a millionaire, and have it all, and they're not happy.
Mhm.
And so this is the perfect time then to say, hey, let's step back and take a look at, not abandon yet, but take a look at, what will this look like moving forward, and how can I steer my ship, so to speak? If you've already got a business, how can I start to steer it in that direction, and ensure that I am going to be happy, I am going to make the income that I want, I am going to make the impact that I need to get that message, and make the kind of leave that legacy, and leave that blueprint on the planet that you really want to do.
Yes, that's beautiful. Well, that sounds fun. So that is an incredible opportunity, and it sounds like something that you do very well. And I can totally feel the energy of how you love doing that, and you're putting the person in front of you that you're working with first. And so I really love that. That's so important when you're choosing anyone to work with.
Mhm.
It's always make sure that you're in the equation. and,
Yes,
and
exactly, and then that they have the supporting materials, like, I have almost 60 modules, training modules, because it's great for me to say, "Hey, okay, now we're gonna do this," but if you don't know how to do that, right, I don't want you wandering aimlessly in the desert looking for it. I'm like, "Do this and report back, and do this and report back," or even better, "Do this and we'll build it."
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's so helpful because it is really easy to end up having somebody give you the real list of what everything you need to do to get to the point you want. And that real list is like it's like a roadmap from here to the other side of the planet.
yeah.
And you're like overwhelmed because you just want to do whatever you do
Whatever
best.
you get. Yeah,
And not,
exactly.
yeah.
That's right. The zone of genius. You don't want to build your own landing page,
Yeah,
create those email sequences, set up your marketing funnel. That's not for you to do. That's our zone of genius.
mm,
And when a person sticks in their own, that's where the happiness is. If you notice, when you're not happy, you're mucking with something you shouldn't be.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, like you had worked with Obama. Now I met Bill Clinton, who came into my first gift store. And okay, so I'm 20. Okay, maybe I was 24 by this time. I opened at 23. And when he came in, first Secret Service comes in.
Oh my
And
God.
I had been like rounding my sales tax. Cause like I didn't have point of sale in my store yet. We weren't there yet. You know, I opened in 1993-ish. So now
Yep.
you know my age. Forget that. But anyway, for those listening in, don't do the math. But anyway, so in that, Secret Service comes in, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to prison. I probably messed up on those numbers. Oh, I mean, do I run? No, I'll get caught. What do I do? And then it's the president. It was such an honor. But at the same time, the next day, I handed everything over to the CPA. I said, correct what needs to be corrected, do what
Yeah.
needs to be done, get me cleaned up because I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I, that's all I needed.
And I'm a certified management accountant. I don't
There
want to do my own books. I don't
you go.
want to do that at all. I only became that
Mhm.
because the software that I was developing integrated to ACPAC and Great Plains and Sage and all of those, right? And I
Yes.
just wanted everybody who was buying our software
Uh-huh.
to feel confident that we had been following all of the protocols.
Yes, I hear
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that's wonderful. So that's incredible. Wow. And now, how do people get started with you? What would be the first step if they wanted to work with you or just read your book, depending on where they're at? How would that work?
Well, you can go to quantumleaplegacy.com. You can grab a free gift from us. And then if you are so inclined, jump on a call. You can book one right there, jump on a call with me. And don't feel like, oh, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I'll know if you're ready. And if you're not, trust me, I would say, you know what, we're not quite ready for this, but do this. You see, I have such a broad range of
Yes.
offerings, I'll call
Mhm.
them, that if you're not ready for up here, I don't want you to go wandering in the desert
Yeah.
looking for a glass of water when I have a glass of water over there that chances are you can afford that. Okay. So and it's a straight line build to this, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably my so yeah, if you go to quantumleaplegacy.com, and obviously you're welcome to also connect with me anywhere in social media, with my name at Tracy Repchuk. I'm literally, that's the brand, and that's the one that you're going to find me with. You can go to my website and take a look and start to peruse, kind of what the messaging is, and if that's aligning to you. All of these will start to come together for you, and that's the way you want to assess anybody. Is their messaging and what they're saying resonating with you? Because I help you discover your destiny, align your goals, transform your marketing, and live a legacy. And that's how we unpack you.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. And it looks like we are at the end of our time today. But thank you again for being a special guest on the show. And for those tuning in, you can watch the replay if you go to SheilaMac.com, and there'll be a free gift for you. And again, Tracy, where could people go to get started? You said there was a free gift. Which site do they go to for that? One more time.
Go to quantumleaplegacy.com.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you again. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time. All right.